All right, so a question I'm getting a lot that I want to add to the masterclass is pay-per-click versus Facebook. And this is a graphic that I had done by the Ylopo team, I want to say 3, maybe 4 years ago. And it was using, growing as a child up into an adult and how we eat different kinds of food, right? And at the time I had my middle child Dax. Since then I've had last month another child, my wife and I, and so babies are very much in my mind. And so when you're looking at these leads, whether they be from Facebook or Google, you really need to understand where the consumer is at, right? And so in the same way, a baby, right? So there's the baby in this image. That they have to eat food that's been blended or milk from their mother. They have a baby buyer. It's a new subject. They're cautious. They're unsure. It's new for them, right? And then as the baby grows, is able to eat more real food, still cut up very carefully. That would be the toddler food and the toddler buyer, right? Stage 2. And then, of course, there's the adult who's able to eat everything. So the big idea here is that you know how to assess where the lead is at. You're able to engage them, find out what's motivating them, and help them grow. And some of you, you're calling somebody who just started thinking about buyer leads or buying a home, and it's a buyer lead, and you're like, hey, let's go look tonight, right? And that's the analogy that I used 3 or 4 years ago was a baby eating a burger. Like, it just doesn't make any sense, right? It's not digestible. They're not digesting it. And with Facebook, what you've got to understand is we are going to them. We're putting something in front of them, hoping that they bite, similar to how you would go fishing and put fish on a hook and try to catch a fish. But we went to them. They did not plan on having this discussion right now. And so, what I need you to understand with that is it's not that it's not a good lead. It's that it's a different kind of conversation. So instead of only seeing good leads as people that answer and say, yes, I know what I want. I know what I need. Here's what I want, Mr. Agent, Mrs. Agent. Just understand that this is someone that hasn't figured it out yet. And this is really important. In our culture, people think they need to figure it out before they call you. They think they need to have their I's dotted and their T's crossed. And once they've figured out everything about the process, where they want to live, how much they want to spend, how much it's going to cost, the process in and out, then they call the agent to have the door opened. And what I need you to understand is whether it's a Facebook lead or a PPC lead, you've got to understand that if you can help them to see that your greatest value is not opening a door. Your greatest value actually has to do with the fact that you can guide them through the process and make it much easier. And in that case, it doesn't matter if it's Facebook or PPC. So all that is similarities, right? Understanding where the consumer is at, understanding that the consumer doesn't think they need you right now because they don't know your value. So that's the second point. The third point is this. With PPC, there's an assumption of intentionality because they went to Google. They took time to type. And furthermore, with Google's PPC, or with Ylopo's Google PPC, we're doing long tail ads, so it's even more intentional. And so are they typically higher intent leads? Yes. They cost a little bit more. And so there's a balance here. With Facebook, you can grow a huge database and you're still going to catch buyer leads. But with Google, you're going to catch people that have put in search phrases. There's not a one-size-fits-all approach. One thing I've learned from G is with marketing, you test, you observe, and then you iterate on that. And that's what you've got to do. So I recommend emailing marketing at Ylopo when you need a marketing consult to go over these things. But again, Facebook is disruptive. We went to them. Google, they've come to us. But in both scenarios, you've got to find out where the consumer is at. And we use 4 discovery questions, and I'll end with this. We use discovery questions because we're showing the consumer that they have a need. It's kind of like when my 12-year-old says he cleaned his room. And I follow up with a question. Is there any dirty laundry on the floor? So by asking this question, I'm identifying whether or not he actually did clean his room. And in the same way, when a buyer says, I don't know what I want, because I asked them, what kind of home do you want? Instead of asking that, I'll ask a more thought out question like, look, I'm sure you're not ready to move yet, but when you do, what are you hoping to change about where you live? Right? Just that alone. You're going to get so much from them about what they want this next time and why they're not ready, and you're going to connect with them on an authentic level. It's at that point you can actually help them transition through those phases. Hope this helps, and as usual, just contact me in the Wailopo Success Community if you need any help.